Yeah, welcome everyone. This is Data Analysis Scholarship course. Today we are going to be starting with Excel. This is Data Analysis Beginners course Excel. Excel for beginners. Master Data Analysis Basics. You are all welcome. Kindly let me know if you can hear me. Let me know if you can see my screen. You are welcome for tonight's section. We are going to be starting with Excel. We are going to be starting with Excel from basics, and then we move it up to further data analysis as regards to this scholarship. Please let me know if you can hear me. Let me know if you can see my screen. We are live once again for tonight's section. We are live for tonight's section. Let me know if you can hear me, if you can see my screen. My name is Franklin, and this is data analysis using Microsoft Excel scholarship. And from there we move up to the intermediate and the advanced features and stuffs in Microsoft Excel as regards to data analysis. Here before me is the Excel screen. I'm going to be using Office 2021 for this particular section this night. There are different versions of Microsoft Office. We have Office 2013, we have Office 2016, we have 2019, 2021, 2024. We also have Office 365. These are versions of Office, also lesser versions 2010. But tonight I'm going to be working with Office 2021. I'm going to be working with Office 2021. If you are joining, kindly drop in the comment section where you are joining us from, your name and where you are joining us from. We are going to start earnestly this. All right. Excel is a spreadsheet application. Excel is a spreadsheet application. Excel is a spreadsheet software used for data entry, used for data manipulation, used for data modeling, for analysis, for calculations, and what have you. So Excel is one of the major. When I say major, is one of the core, is one of the key softwares as regards to data analysis. So here we are going to be exploring the basics of Microsoft Excel. Now when you get to Excel, here you have recent documents you have used or recent workbook you have worked with, recent Excel document you have worked on. Here you have the pin. In this pin, this is where you pin if there is a work you are working on, analysis you are doing, and what have you, and you left Excel and want to come back and just go straight to those work, you pin it immediately, so that when you get back to Excel and you click, you have all recent documents you have open, you have worked on, and there are other ones here. Then you can go straight to this pin aspect, and then you get access straight to what you have been working with. And this is blank workbook. Here is where you have access to some templates. Once you click on it, you get access to some template where you can know the query, the pivot table. Here you see some organizational chart, monthly budget, and what have you, where you start to work with immediately. However, in this course we are going to be looking at blank workbook. We are going to be started afresh as regards to blank workbook. And before we go before we do that, you look at this account where you can change the theme color. If you want it dark gray, you change it to this. If you want it black, you change it to this, and what have you. And for this night, I will be working with black. I will be working with the black theme. I will be working with the black theme. Here you see the product, which office you are using. That is Office 2021, like I said earlier, and that is the aspect of your account. You see what you have. You can manage your settings from here and do some simple or basic settings. What have you if you have, but now we are leaving it on this. All right, then the next is the options. In this particular aspect is where you are going to be looking at different aspects of options. You can change the font size, the font type or the font style. You can change the number of sheets. Here is showing you that you have just one sheet when you log in. If you want it to be 3 sheets, you can. If you want it to be 3 sheets, you can increase it from here. As you can see, I made it 3. If you want the font style to be 12, you can make it 12. Here, what font style do you want? We can say, okay, we want Times New Roman, and you enter it. You set up how you want your Excel to be, and that is the font. For the basics, there are other aspects like the proofing, but we are not going to be going into that for today. All right, and other settings here are the basic settings we can work with for today. Then we say okay, and once that is done, is telling us that we need to restart Excel for that to take effect. Say please close and restart Excel so that the font changes can be effect. Say okay. Now that is on that, we go to file, come over to this, and then we select blank workbook. Now once we select blank workbook, we automatically get into the Excel interface. Here is the Excel interface. We call this the Excel interface, and in this is from this whole aspect, everything you are looking at here is what we refer to as Excel workbook. That's why you see the title as book 1. So everything from this home down to this sheet part is referred to as workbook. We call it Excel workbook. That's on that. So, but everything from this place down, everything on this area, all this is what we refer to as worksheet. We refer to it as worksheet. So everything here, worksheet. All the stuff here, both the functions, both the tabs, both the formula bar, we refer to it as workbook. That is that. Then what you are seeing here, all these boxes, you are seeing all these boxes are what we refer to as cells. We call them cells. They are all we refer to as cells. And what is cell? Cell is the aspect in Excel that we input data. Is a box. Is an aspect or a box in Excel where we input the data. And in Microsoft Excel, we have many cells, but we have one active cell per time. We have what we refer to as active cell per time. And what is the active cell? Active cell is the cell that has a thick outline, which is the cell that we can enter data per time. Like we have here, these are cells, but this one is the only active cell as regards to this Excel worksheet at the moment. If I click here, it becomes the active cell. Now that is on this place is called the columns, where you see the alphabet A, B, C, down to where it stops, SFD. We call it columns. We refer to it as columns, while 1, 2, 3, 4 down is what we refer to as rows. That's what we refer to as rows. And then the next is, in this is we have the sheet. We call it sheet. Like we said, it's called worksheet. It's a sheet where we do the work, the analysis, the entries, the formatting, the calculation. That's the sheet. This is sheet 1. Here, if you click on this, that is sheet 2. If you click on this, sheet 3. This plus here is where you can add new sheets, as many as possible. Once I click on it, you see here sheet 4. Now, the next thing, let's go back to this. The next in this introduction, Excel for beginners, is to rename a sheet. Worksheet. If you want to rename a worksheet, right click, as I have done. Right click, go to rename, and you click on it. You can call it, let's say I call it basics. I call it basic. You hit enter, that becomes the name. And this one, if I want to rename this, I can double click instead of right clicking. I double click. Now once I double click, immediately it shows me that I can type. I can type also, maybe let's say I put here basics 2. I hit enter. So that way you use to rename your worksheet. Another thing in worksheet is that you can color your worksheet and make it look colorful. How do we do that? Right click on it and then go to tab color. Under this tab color, you can select any color of your choice. Let's say I select this red. If I come here, you see that red, and then let's say I select this blue. If I go back to this, you see the blue color. And in that regard, you can change the color of your tab. Now moving forward, this is called the cell address. The cell address or name box. What does this show? This shows you the name of the active cell. Like you can see here, this is the active cell. And each cell has its own address. That's what we refer to as cell address. The address of this cell is H6, like we can see here. This shows us the address of the cell, the active cell. The address of the cell that is active. Here the address is H6. So if we want to find this cell, we just type H6. That's the cell address. Here, if let's say I type G5 and then hit enter, you see automatically it moves to the address of the cell G5. If I say A1, it will go to the first cell, hit enter, it goes to the first cell, A1, and that name box. It shows the name or the address of the active cell. Anywhere the active cell is, peradventure, here is the active cell. It shows us that is O13. O13, that is that. Then this one is what we call the formula bar. This displays the formula or whatsoever that is in the active cell. Either formula, we can type in a formula here, we can put in a function there, and what have you. When we can say put in stuff here, you see if I type is showing in the active cell. So we refer to this as the formula bar. Okay, now here are what we know the font. This is for bold. If I want to bold this, I can click on it. It's bold. If I want to italicize this, I can come here, italics. If I want to underline this, I can click on this to underline. These are basic functions in Microsoft Office or Microsoft Word. All right, now the next, this is border. We can add border to any of the cell. Here I can choose to add border to this. Let's say I say outside border. So you see here this. So this is for border, depending on what you want to work on the border you want to work on. All right. Now the next thing we are going to be looking at is this one that looks like paint, that has a bucket. Is used to add color to the background of the cell. It's used to add color to the background of the cell. For example, if I want to add color to this, I click on it. You see the background is blue, the background is yellow. If you come to the side, this arrow button here, and click, you see other colors that you can add. Now if I add blue, for example, if I click on this blue, this becomes blue. You see that automatically what is here now is blue. That means if I come here and then click on the bucket, not the arrow down, I click on this that looks like bucket, automatically it will make it blue. The active cell or the selected or the highlighted cell becomes blue. For example, if I highlight all this and then go over to this and click blue, you see all the highlighted cells becomes blue. If I don't want the blue, I want to change it to this, for example, or to this, anyone, I click on it, it change that color, and that is for that. Then this A is to change the font color. The font color is for the font. So if I select white here, the color becomes white. The same way, if I go to this place, instead of clicking the arrow down, I now click this A here, automatically it will make that to be white. Okay, these are some basics. Then on this aspect, this A is to increase the font size, this is to decrease it. So if I click on this, you see it increases. If I click on this, it decreases. Here is to change the font style if we don't want to use the Calibri. That is the aspect of this font family or this font category. Now in the alignment, this is the left align, this is the center, this is the right align, this is bottom. As we can see, this is the middle and this is the top alignment. Now the next thing we are going to be looking at is this is indent. If you want to decrease indent or increase, we are going to be seeing that as we progress in this course, data analysis using Microsoft Excel. As we progress in this course, data analysis using Microsoft Excel. All right. Now the next we are going to be looking at is this. As you can see, this worksheet we have here is not showing fully. Also, like this active cell is more like is spilling over the other cell. How do we get it to be to be inside the same cell and then be visible, be showing? There are different ways to do that. Starting first is you come between this, the line between F and G, click, hold and drag. We call it manual fit. You can drag it to any point you want. As you can see, it's moving. You see the F is moving. We call it manual fit. Manual fit. If I leave it here, that is the length it will take. Manual fit. Then that is on that. Another aspect is what we refer to as auto fit. Auto fit. And to do that, we are going to just come between F and G or any of the cell you want to fit in. Any of the cell you want to fit in, then double click. Just double click in quick succession. You see automatically gives you the perfect fit using the longest character or the longest word in that cell. In this case, that's active cell. Now let's take, for example, I have here I type here active worksheet. Now you see this active worksheet now becomes the longest on this particular column F. So if I come here and then double click on it, you see it takes it to the highest or to the longest text within that particular column. So that is on that. If I don't want it that way, let's say I don't want it to be higher than this, but I want this to be inside the same cell. What I will do is I click on this, come to this wrap text. Once I click on wrap text, you see it drops it down. It drops it down to this particular, it drops it down, you see it's on this, but it takes this particular width, but a different height. So that is the aspect, 3 ways in which you can align text inside the column to make it visible and readable. Okay, that is the aspect of wrap text and the aspect of auto-fit. Moving forward, we are going to be looking at merge. We are going to be looking at merge. For example, I want to have, let's take for example, let me delete this one. If you want to delete everything, that we have typed here, what you just do, highlight where the text are. Once you selected the area you want to delete, the words or the text or the characters inside the cells, you press your delete button. You press the delete button, everything is gone. So you might ask, what of these borders, these colors, and if I want to remove them, how do I remove it? Starting from this, just select the same area you colored, come to this, click this drop down, come here and say no fill. The same way you do to this, select them and then say no fill, and then come to this border, go to the border and then say no border. That way everything is gone. Now, having said that, the next thing we are going to be looking at is merge. This function here called merge. What do we use it for? If we want to have a title or we want to have a heading of a particular stuff, let's say I want to have a heading here and let me make it, I merge it. I go and click on this. You see I merge everything to be one. I can now call it data analysis with Excel. Now you see this, I'm making this as a heading. I can now format bold, make it bold, and then maybe use Times New Roman, and then let's say I make it center like this, middle, and then I can also come here and let's say select white, come here, select blue, and have a heading such as this. I have formatted it, put it in a way that is okay for me, and that is one of the things of merge and center. Under it you have merge and center, merge across, merge cells. If you want to unmerge, click on this and then you click this back. You have to just click again. That way you get that. So merge and center, merge across. Merge and center is that immediately you use merge and center, whatever you are writing will be at the center. For example, if I now come here and merge this one and then come over here, for example, and say merge across, it has merged. But if I now write let's say Excel, let's say I now write Excel basics, you see it's starting is starting at the left. But if I want it to be at the center, there is no need of using merge across. What I will just do is to just use merge and center. Let me unmerge and then use merge and center. And if I type Excel basics again, you see it's starting from the basics. It's starting from the basics. And that is on the aspect of merge and center the functions. All right, moving forward to this is to assign a currency. Most by default is dollar. Let's take for example, if I click on to assign a currency to the active cells. This is active. So if I select all these cells becomes active now. If I select them, they are now grouped under one. So I can click on this. If I click on this now, on cell F, if I click on it and then come over to this and put okay. You see you have that dollar sign. If I put 5, go down, you have the dollar sign as well. That way, maybe I put 12 down, provided we are still in that aspect, in that particular cell, in that particular range of cell that we highlighted to assign the dollar sign. But if I come here and then put 4 and move down, it's just 4. It takes it general, it's just 4. So this is for currency, or for currency. Here you can now assign pound, you can assign euro, you can assign the Chinese yuan, you can assign more, you can go to more formulas and then come to your currency. You can come to currency. Here you see different currencies. Let's say here you want to use Naira, any of these can go. So if you select this, you can remove the decimal places. But in accounting, in mathematics, in analysis, the figure most likely is used. So if I say okay and then type 10 and go down, you see that takes the Naira format, the currency format of Naira. So that is on that. Then this is percentage. If I click on it, it will assign percent to this active cell. So once I click on it, you see is percent. If I type anything, let's say 15, move that way, is in percent. That is on this percent. Then this is to assign comma. Let's take for example, I put comma on this cell and I type 1000. You see it gives it comma, it apply comma on it. But here if I type just 1000 and move down, you see it sees it as 1000. Here if I type 1 million, that's 6 zeros. Now you see it is assigned a comma. So that is the aspect of this. This is on the decimal. For example, if I have here how will I to increase or decrease decimal places? If I have here 3 divided by 10, for example, and hit enter, we have 0.3. If I say 3 divided by 13, hit enter, we have this 0. This. Now if I come here and click on this increase decimal, you see it added another decimal, it keep on increasing it. If I say decrease decimal, it will decrease it. Now, when it comes to 9, it makes this 7 as it will be approximating. Now, you see it, 8, 1. So that is what this is used for. Then, in the conditional formatting, we use it to do some conditional formatting, which we are still going to get to in the course of this training in data analysis. All right, now let's delete everything that we have here. Remember, if we want to remove this number formatting, we can highlight all through here and then come over to this place and select general, so no specific. The same thing we do to these ones, and we select general, so all of them will not have any stuff. Okay, now once we can, let's remove this. Now, having explained this, the next is to talk about some basic Excel tricks, some basic Excel tricks and tips for optimality, for optimal functioning, for efficiency, some basic tips. The first one is the aspect of days. Let's take, for example, you are preparing a weekly report, and in that weekly report you want to type in Monday, and then you move to type Tuesday. As you can see, that is, it will take me some time. It will take me time. Now, what if I told you that, what if I tell you that once you type Monday, you can come to this. There is, you can see this small box here, this small stuff that looks like a block, that looks like block or square. When you get it there, your cursor turns to dark cross. If you move away, it's more like a star cross. But here it will turn to dark cross. That is what we call autofill function. We call it autofill rather. We call it autofill. It's a very powerful feature in Excel that as you continue using Microsoft Excel, you will be using this feature. You will definitely, there is no way you will not use this feature working with Excel. It's a very important feature. So when you get to that place, it becomes dark cross, hold and drag. So you see we get to Sunday. Let's say you are working for, and you end Friday, your working days of the week, Friday or Saturday, or your company works all through the week. That is what you have. Now, another trick we are going to be talking about here is this. Now you see it gives us Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then Saturday. For example, now let's repeat this using another cell. These cells, let's use it here. For example, I put Monday here. There is something I want to show us. Now we have Monday and we drag it to, let's say we stop to Friday. All right. Now I think I get the thing I want to get a bit. Let me reduce this one also and get it to Sunday. Okay, now as we can see here, this Wednesday is not fully visible, Thursday is not fully visible, the same as Sunday. The same as Sunday. Now, I have taught us how we can fit it inside these cells by double clicking here or wrap test, whatever, or manual fit. However, If we go to do that one after the other, let's say we are using auto fit, which is mostly recommended, and you come here, double click, you come here, you double click, and you come here, you double click, that will take you a bit of time. What else? What will you do? You just come to this place, highlight all. This, when you click here, it selects all the cell in this Microsoft Excel. It selects all the cell, and then you come in between any of these, in between A or B or B and C or C and D, in between any of them, and just double click. Now when you double click, you see all of them is formatted rightly, fitted in rightly. So you don't have to do it one after the other. And that is for this. Then this, someone might ask me, okay, what if I don't want the days in full? You can also do it in stuff like this, type mon, and then you drag. Once you drag, it gives it to you. Excel will replicate it for you in the short form. Also, this works not just only for days, it also works for the months. Let's say we have January, and then we come here and drag down to December. That is for the months. At the same time, like I said, also this can also work in the short form. Just type the first one and then use auto fill to fill in the rest. Excel will recognize it, because these are constant stuff that doesn't change. January is January, Monday is Monday. Now someone might ask, okay, what if I continue here? If you continue, it will start, the next one will start Monday, Tuesday, and so on and so forth. Okay, that is the aspect of the basic tricks. Moving forward, you might want to generate a serial number. Yes, say you want to generate number of 1 to 30, 1 to 50. There are different ways you can do that. There are this, you can have this type and draw down. And then once that happens, you come to this autofill function. As you can see the name there, you come to that autofill function and click on this. Once you click that, you go to fill series. However, I don't use this. I don't use this because it makes me to guess which number have I gotten to 20, have I gotten to 30, have I gotten to 40, as the case may be. However, if I want to generate some numbers, depending on the office you are using, there are some basic functions you can use. There are basic functions in which you can use. However, let me go to what every office, if you are using Office 27, even if you are using Microsoft Office 27, even if you are using 2010, 2013, this function, this particular stuff will work. If you type here 1, and then you come here and type 2, and select both cells. You select both cells, that cell that have 1 and the one that has 2. Select both of them. Please get this, you need to select both of them, not just select this and drag. You have to select, click, hold, and then drag to select both cells. That is what to do. Then the next, you now come to this auto fit. Now you start moving. Now when you move down, you see it will be giving you the number that is 5. This is 6. This one 7, this one 8, then you move down. Let's say we want to stop at 25. We can control it depending as we are moving. We are seeing the number now is 20. My hand from my mouse or from my mouse, we see that to be 25. That is one of the quick ways to generate your serial number. However, if you are using Office 2021 above, if you are working with Office 2021 and above, and you want to generate serial number like up to 1000, you won't come to be dragging this down till 1000. That will take you time. That will take me time. There is this quick function or quick way of doing that using a formula is available in Office 2021 and above. I think so. I'm not sure. I don't think you have it in 2019. This formula is available in Office in Microsoft Excel 2021. Please let me know if you can hear me once more. And also drop in the chat where you are joining us from, your name and where you are joining us from. Very, very important. Your name and where you are joining us from. Your name and where you are joining us from. Your name and where you are joining us from. Very, very important. Very important. Right. Can someone confirm if you can still hear me, please? Drop in the chat box if I'm still audible. I don't know whether I'm still live. Can someone please drop in the chat. Drop in the chat if you can hear me. If I'm audible enough, let me know. Please let me know if I'm still audible enough. And if you can still hear me, let me know. Can hear me? Drop it in the chat. Someone is asking which phone application will I use for this practical session. Please, you need a laptop. If you are joining from the scholarship group, you need a laptop. You must have a laptop. It's not something I will not begin to tell you go and download Microsoft Office in Google Play Store. No. This is, you need a laptop. Okay. Now, like I was saying, in Excel, for you to input any function, any formula, any calculation, analysis in Excel, you have to start from a quality sign. So we say equals to, and then we click on sequence, double click on sequence. You have here, you can type 1000. So what you are telling Microsoft Excel that you want to generate 1000 rows. You want to generate to 1000. So you hit, I think network is messing me up this night. Please confirm if you can hear me. Okay, someone said you are audible enough. All right. Now this is the formula. So if I hit enter, you see immediately Excel gets me what I'm looking for. From 1 to 1000. If we go down, you see it stops at 1000. However, what you need to know is that Excel is seeing this as 2, but is seeing this one as a function. Like you can see in the formula bar, is equals to sequence 1000. So if you want Excel to see this as real number or as number per se, or not as a function, there are things we do to read. Okay, but that's as we progress further in this course. All right, now the next thing we are going to do is to look at, to get to see the last row in Microsoft Excel. The last row in Microsoft Excel. Excel has over 1 million rows. What we mean by rows, remember, we say the numbers are called rows while the alphabet are called columns. So to go down to the rows, you press Ctrl down arrow to get to the last row. Now for the last row, the formula is Ctrl down arrow, Ctrl down arrow. That is the formula. So if I press Ctrl and down arrow, I get to the last row, which is 1,048,576. That is the last row in Microsoft Excel. Okay, if I want to go up to the first row, I press Ctrl up arrow. Ctrl up arrow, that takes me to the first. Okay, now the next, if I want to get to the last column, I'm at K1, that is the active cell. But if I want to get to the last column, I will press Ctrl forward arrow. It takes me to the last column, which is XFD. That's the last column. Now the next shortcut is anywhere you are and you want to return to A1, that's the first cell in Microsoft Excel, you press Ctrl Home. You return to A1. Anywhere you are, you return to A1, Ctrl Home. Now, if you want to know more of this, more about these shortcuts, just go to on the channel, check for Excel shortcuts. We have done a video, a training on that. The shortcut for data entry, shortcut for formatting, shortcut for copy and paste, different aspects of shortcut. Do well to check them out. Learn one or two tricks from that. Okay, now moving forward, we are going to be rounding up this nice section on Excel basics. Tonight is to give us a foundation background understanding of Microsoft Excel basics. By the next section on Saturday, we will be diving deep into Excel formulas, Excel functions, Excel calculations. That's where we'll be going into those aspects. Now, and let me round up by explaining some of these aspects. In some of these, we have insert, where you can see pivot table. We will get to that in the course of this section. Here, if you want to put in some shapes or insert some pictures or some icons or some smart art, which we are going to be getting into in the next section. And then we have the spark lines, we have the filter. We are going to be getting to know how to use them. Then under the page layout, you have your setting background here. If you want to add some background here, if you want to add a picture to the background, you can use this, or